What's up, everyone? So here's my tutorial on how I made the Stranger helmet from the Acolyte. I gotta say, I'm very happy with how it came out. Definitely, I think it's one of my better paint jobs. Very happy for it. And yeah, let's get into it and show you how I got it done. Now, real quick too, let's talk file. This file was from Mystery Makers. I highly recommend checking out Marco. He's the designer, and check out his Patreon. He's got a lot of awesome stuff. If you're a big Star Wars fan, um, comic book, you name it, he's into all of it. His Fallout Pip Boy is phenomenal. I'm debating on making a video on that, but yeah, no, definitely check out Marco's stuff. What's really cool about this file as well is if you've got your Bamboo printer, he's got a pre-oriented file in there for Bamboo with, in this case, this build had 6 different build plates. You open the file, automatically set everything up to his settings. His settings are usually spot on. But in this case, I changed them up because I went with a different layer height. So his settings for supports and things like that were going to be different. So because I went with a lower layer height, I just went with my own settings. But if you don't want to mess with anything, go check it out. He's got a lot of files that are like that, especially now with Bamboo, that he pre-orients, and you just basically can just print, which is great. So definitely go check him out. I'll put that link down below as well.
In a previous video, you guys saw me putting it together. Now, I did not glue any of this together as I want to keep it separate. Teeth are already primed, so that's pretty much ready for paint. I printed everything at a 0.08 layer height, so my sanding and everything's going to be very minimal. So I'm basically going to hit this up with primer, lightly sand it, and we're going to be on to paint. All right, here's the helmet after primer. You can see not a lot of sanding for this, so I think I'm just going to hit this with 400 grit, and if I knock any of the texture out, I will just add some in, and I think it's going to be ready for paint here very soon. So with not having to sand the teeth area, this is pretty much ready for paint. And I'm using my go-to paint for the metal effect, which I absolutely love, this universal silver metallic from Duplicolor. You guys have seen numerous builds where I've used it on Hu Yang for the entire body, a couple other projects, things like that. But I really love this paint, and it's going to look perfect on this, I think, when it's done.
Now, also, for some reason, I don't know why I didn't film anything when I was talking about using that universal silver metallic paint. I don't know why I didn't show any or get any video painting it, but that'll be in a later clip when we get to that part where I get the thing put together.
So after hitting the helmet with 400 grit, it's removed a little bit of the texture. I'm going to just hit it with some truck bed lining, just to add a little bit more texture back into it. Yeah, that should definitely work. Just adding that little bit of texture is going to help any of the layer lines that I may have missed. I probably went a little bit heavy on the front there, but you know what? That's going to add to the damage aspect of it, which I'm okay with. Now that that's dry, I'm going to hit this with a flat black paint. Normally I would do like a flat black primer or anything like that, but I'm going to do this with the flat black regular paint because it self levels at this point, which should bring out the texture nicely, and really just make it base coat pop. Now, I did go back through, I did hit the helmet up one more time with the truck bed liner. I had some layer lines in there, just couldn't get to, so I just filled them in real quick with the bed liner, and I think it came out great. Now that this is dry, we're going on to the first color that I'm going to throw on over the black paint, and I'm using a Satin dark walnut. Reason for that is because I want to bring out numerous colors. This thing has been through battles. It's metal looking. It's gonna give it that darker, weathered image of what I'm looking for when I do hit this up with copper paint and things like that. Now this paint does look like it's almost black. That's how dark of brown this is. But if you're familiar with any of the stuff I've made in the past, you're gonna realize I use this color quite a bit. And if you really know what I love more than anything, I use that color on my shredder helmets. So this is gonna make a great base first layer coat, and then I'm gonna hit this with some Graphite Rub so I can really start to bring out a metal effect. So I start having layers of colors and wear and things like that. So after hitting it up with the Graphite Rub, this is starting to pop a little bit more, which is great. You can see now I'm starting to get into the different layers of texture, weathering, all that stuff. I did not do an even coat over everything, as I think it's just going to ruin the look entirely. I did, however, do a little bit extra in some of the grooved areas just to give it that more of a layering of dirt, grime, cleanliness, even under paint and things like that. Now on to the copper. So with this, I'm not going to coat the entire helmet with the copper. This is a hammered, textured copper paint that I'll be using, but I'm going to mainly hit up the beat up areas with the copper. That's really just going to bring out more layering and damage and all that stuff. But I'm definitely not going to hit the whole helmet up evenly at this point, but I really just want to focus on, like I said, the damaged areas, because that's mainly where it's in the show. You can clearly see where the damage and things like that are mainly copper and all that stuff. So here it is painted. Now I did get some spots a little bit heavier than I liked, but that actually is going to be fixed when I start to weather this a little bit more with some black acrylic paints and things like that, so I can fill in some of the lighter scratched areas to, again, it's all about layering and weathering with this helmet. So I'm perfectly okay with how this looks currently. We're gonna move on to some higher spots now. I'm gonna start getting the welds and things like that touched up, and yeah, we're just going into weathering now. So as you saw, I went and did the Graphite Rub and then the copper, which then covered most of the Graphite Rub. Now the scarring and everything, I want that to be silver again. So what in these kind of situations, what I'll do is either use Rub and Buff, which it's okay, but I haven't clear coated this thing yet, so I'm not gonna use Rub and Buff just because I don't have the best of luck with clear coat and Rub and Buff being a wax. So in this situation here, I'm gonna break out the graphite powder one more time, but I'm gonna use a Q-tip, so I can basically just go along, fill it in this way the scarring and everything will kind of bleed into the helmet, making it look like paint fade and just damage overall, instead of just having a dominant silver line. All right, here it is after I hit it with the Graphite Rub, and I'm very happy with the results. It's hitting it up just a little bit. You can tell there's silver there, the weathering is there. I did go through on a couple spots, and I might even hit up that center one and maybe the front couple pieces there where the grooves are. I did go in and do a little bit of Graphite Rub in there and back here as well, just to break up some of the color. Yeah, like I said, I may very well just go back in and do that just for more effect. Now, the only thing I didn't film was clear coating it. I just basically use a Duplicolor Universal Clear, nothing too crazy, but I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. Now, some paint I did get there, but we're going on to my favorite part now, which is weathering. I don't use anything fancy, just a cheap black paint that I pick up at Meijer. It's like 89 cents a bottle. So it's time to weather this thing and move on to the next step. So basically I take that paint, I just water it down, take a, whatever these kind of paint brushes are, sponge brush, I don't know what they're called. Anyways, water it down. Now I'm just gonna lightly tap it on because I want to make sure I get into the grooves and all that stuff. I always do this in small sections. Now I've cheated a little bit, and what I've learned with me is I like using these baby wipes to blot off the paint. As you can see, it really brings out a nice effect. Excuse me. And then I'll just do this all over the entire helmet, moving in small sections at a time. And it's okay if it runs. It's not going to hurt anything, because this being an acrylic paint, it will just wipe off, especially when it's over the clear coat. Now this is probably a little bit runnier than I'd like, but in a way it does make it a little bit easier as well to blot it off. All right, here it is after some weathering. Really happy with how it turned out. You got some black into the grooves, you still got some copper, you still have some silver. It's just nicely weathered, and some of these recessed areas that are beat up, they are filled in nicely actually with some weathering. And any imperfections at this point could be covered. I'm not really seeing anything out of the ordinary, but now it's time to move on to the jaw. This one real short and sweet on this. I have no intentions of doing as elaborate as I was doing on the top part of the helmet, as I want to keep different colors along the jawline. So I'm going to hit this up with primer to start with, and we'll move on to the next coat. Basically the base coat, black into the dark walnut color again, and a little bit of texture thrown in there as well. And the jaw is finished up. Now I went a little bit darker with the jaw just for color contrast, but you can see some of the graphite rub coming through on some of the damaged areas, which is exactly what I was looking for, which is great. So now all I'm going to have to do now is let everything dry fully, and then I will get the teeth and the jaw glued to the main helmet, and we can test fit, and this is going to be done.
Now, I do want to take a moment. I do want to thank Polymaker for sponsoring this. I was able to get some of their Polymaker cosPLA, and yeah, this stuff is great. It's really awesome for sanding. I decided to go with version B just because of the sandability. There's two different versions. Version A, I believe, is more of a durable PLA, where version B is more of a sandable one, or maybe I've got them backward. I have to double check that, but for the most part, very happy with how this turned out. So thank you very much, Polymaker. I'll put the link down below to the cosPLA if you'd like to try it. This is great stuff, especially if you're big into cosplay. You can see Vader right there. That's all cosPLA. I'll have a video with that shortly as well. So again, definitely check this company out. Their cosPLA. This stuff's great. And also too, real quick, with the upcoming scene coming up, my niece wanted to help me video. So you're going to see it being a little sporadic, but you know what? I love my niece, and if she wants to help me out, I'm more than happy to have her help me out and make her day. So just so you are aware, the next part with the teeth area of the video, it's not going to be quite the same. But again, Love my niece. I'm glad she helped me out. Check out Polymaker and continue on with the video. So I've taken the same black paint with a little bit of water in there with a finer paintbrush, and I just brushed in the crevices. If you get some paint on there, it's not a big deal. That doesn't belong, because as you can see, taking those baby wipes, it wipes right off. And it's very important that the piece is clear coated before doing this. Otherwise, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to take off any excess paint you don't want, which is why I really like doing it with this method and using those baby wipes, because it just speaks for itself. Here we are, final product. This thing, I love it. You can really see where I used the acrylic paints. You got the black in there, you've got your copper, you've got different layers of weathering. You can definitely tell this thing has been worn. And I was going for that effect from the show. You can definitely tell it's been beat up. And I'm very happy with this. When it gets in certain lighting, you see copper. When you get into other lighting, you see some of the black. And that just goes to show why I like doing many layers of weathering like this. It just really brings everything out, and could not be happier with this. So this is definitely going to be in my collection. No intentions of getting rid of this. Um, yeah, I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you like this kind of stuff and want to follow, I would appreciate it. Yeah, otherwise, I will catch you guys on the next video, and I've got some more stuff coming up. So catch you guys later.